welcome to Hanging by a Thread. My name is Ailsa, and this is my little corner of the internet where I talk about all things knitting. And I'm coming to you with a slightly different format today. I'm calling this my Whip Wednesday update. um, and my goal here, so I talked a little while ago about how the standard podcast format didn't quite work for me and my lifestyle. I was always just getting overwhelmed with like, oh, I don't have any finished objects, but I have so many whips, but I can't fit it all in. Anyway, it was a whole thing. So I've separated out what I think I'm going to be doing into I'm going to do finished object kind of deep dives. And then I had thought I was going to do whip updates in YouTube Shorts. It turns out my ability to talk about anything in 3 minutes or less is next to zero. Especially multiple whips. So, and also like shorts is just a format I don't really jive with. But so what I want to do is a shorter, but not a short, kind of update on my whips for Whip Wednesday, kind of tying it into that theme. And then, yeah, just have this be a little bit more casual, a little bit less in depth maybe, just more like kind of show and tell, show you what I've been working on, so that hopefully I can kind of check in a little bit more regularly, but without like the whole, like a little bit less edited, a little bit less time consuming or difficult to put together, a little bit more off the cuff maybe. Not to say that I'm not putting effort into these. I don't want to sound like I'm just like throwing this out there, but just to have it be, I think informal is the right words, that it's just more of a check-in about what I've been working on. So before we jump into the whips, I did also want to say a huge thank you because one of you wonderful viewers did actually buy me a pattern off of my Ravelry wish list recently. And I cannot tell you how moved that made me. It can sometimes feel a little bit like talking into a void here. Don't get me wrong, I really appreciate all of the engagement and comments and likes that I've had here, but there can be a feeling of, is anybody watching this? Does anyone care? Like, is there any point in doing this? And having that tangible, like sign of, oh, somebody appreciates this was just so lovely and so such a morale boost, and really came at a time that I needed it. So I just want to say thank you to that person again, and so kind and generous. I'm really looking forward. They purchased me the April cardigan by Petite Knit. Really looking forward to making that pattern. I have the yarn in stash, so that will move up my list of things to be knit really fast. So yes, just a huge thank you for that. And a huge thank you to everyone as well for being here and watching and engaging in whatever way you engage. It is so lovely to feel a part of this community and to feel connected to people over this hobby that we share. So yeah, big thank you. All right, let's talk whips. So if you've seen my fall knitting plans, these will mostly be familiar from what I said I was going to be knitting. So the first one I'm going to show you is I have started on the Dinosaur sweater by Pernille Larsen. This is a kid's pattern, and I'm making this for my daughter. Look how cute this is. Obviously, I just have some feet here. This is not a full dinosaur yet. This is my first time doing an intarsia sweater. There is an option in the pattern to just do do the base color of the dinosaur and then duplicate stitch over the other colors. But I was like, no, if I'm doing intarsia, let's just do intarsia. Let's go the whole hog. Maybe this is foolhardy, but I also don't love doing duplicate stitch. So I was like, I don't know, let's just try this. So needless to say, it's knit flat, then seamed. So you can see I'm working on the front panel. I got some little dinosaur legs with some shading going on there. I think this is going to be adorable. The back is kind of a mess, but as I understand it, that is what we expect for intarsia. If it's not a mess, you're doing it wrong. I am accepting the process. I've also been doing this because why not just add another level of challenge to the first time you're doing intarsia. I've decided to knit this continental. I do know how to knit both ways, but I primarily learnt to knit as an English knitter, as a thrower. But because this was knit flat, I was wondering if I did it continental, whether I could address some rowing out issues by having like combination knitting. When I knit continental, I naturally do what I think is called the Eastern purl, so that I don't even know how to explain it. It's something about how you wrap the yarn, and then it makes it so that on the knit side you have to knit through the back loop, which I don't find at all difficult when knitting continental. So like, okay, maybe I'll just try that. Maybe I'll just challenge myself to knit a whole garment in continental and see how that goes. And I don't know, I'm having fun. It's adding another layer of I'm learning something, I'm doing something different to otherwise stockinette sweater, albeit with intarsia. My intention is not like, I've got some rowing out there, but it's not terrible. And like for somebody who doesn't usually knit continental, I think it's looking pretty even. And yeah, I think my ribbing looks fine. I did notice that knitting ribbing continental style is so much better. Like it's so much easier to move the yarn back and forth. And I was like, maybe I'm just always going to knit ribbing continental now. Maybe that's a thing I have discovered, which I'm sure people watching already know, but maybe it's something I've discovered for myself. Also, I apologize if you can hear they're picking up our garbage right now. It's garbage day, so if you can hear that outside, my apologies. City life, this is how we do it. Okay, so that was the dinosaur sweater. Let's show you something next that wasn't on the fall knitting plans and was something of a surprise to me. So this is a test knit. Apparently this is the year of test knits for me. Who knew? This is a colorwork sweater. I think it's tentatively named the Stoneflower sweater from Knits by Lillian. And this is not replacing the loomer. I am still going to make the loomer, but it has preempted the loomer sweater because it's a test knit and it has a deadline. So yes, it is an all over floral motif colorwork pattern. It's sport weight, so I couldn't just use the loomer yarn anyway to make it because that is in worsted weight. But I did have some yarn left, or that I'd salvaged from last year. So last year I started making the autumn alpine bloom, autumn alpine sweater. I'll put the name up here. It's a Caitlin Hunter pattern, and it just went wrong, and I ended up frogging it, and it was sad because it was like so close to being beautiful and I was really excited about it, but it just didn't sit right on me. The collar fit weirdly, and I didn't have it in me to figure out how to fix it, to be quite honest. So I frogged that, and the yarn had kind of been sitting around waiting for a project. And look, it's gonna be this. Ah! I actually probably need to switch over to a new cord. This is like quite a small cord, but it's such a pretty design. It's a floral design heading down the yoke. I got this. This is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Sport. And then I'm actually using some double Sunday, and I think this is like ballerina or something like that. So this is a DK weight yarn, but also non-superwash. And I think the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Sport is quite a heavy sport, so I think they work quite nicely together. I had on the Autumn Alpine been using as the contrast color Rustic Sport from Lichen and Lace in a very similar kind of color, a kind of peachy pinky color, pale. But that's a much lighter sport, and I didn't have enough yardage in it, and because it was so much lighter, it was not sitting very well with the gauge, with the needle size I was needing to knit to hit gauge for this sweater, so it just didn't quite work, which is fine. So I had this in stash, and loving how this is knitting up. I'm really excited about this. I don't have too much else to say about it, but yay, color work. It's so fun. My problem with color work yokes, though, is once I get through the color work and then you just have to do the stockinette, then I'm like, oh, the fun bit is over, but you know, it's all good. It's fine. Okay, and my final whip, it's a little back panel. This is going to be the Fidalgo Cardigan by Mishi Furs Knits, Michelle. I, again, talked about this in my autumn knitting plans. This is Farmer Daughters Fiber Craggy Tweed, and I have kind of got this as my mindless knitting right now. Although it is in a textured pattern, it's broken rib, 3x1 broken rib. At the moment, I'm just knitting the back panel to length, so I'm not doing any increases or what have you. So if I need something to work on that is a little bit more mindless, at the moment, this is it. So this is not getting as much attention as either the Dinosaur sweater, because the Dinosaur sweater my daughter is bugging me for, and the Stoneflower sweater is a test knit. So it's not getting quite as much attention, but I am really liking how it's looking. I had felt a bit dubious about the tweed with the rib pattern, but I actually think it looks really nice. I think it's coming along quite lovely, or turning out quite lovely, I should say. So I feel happy about this, and I'm really excited for the finished object. I just don't have quite as much time to work on it. So just a little back panel right now, but feeling good about that. Feeling excited for this one. So those are my 3 whips right now, and that really is all I'm going to be doing on this Whip Wednesday, just giving you a little glimpse into those whips. Would love to know what you've been working on lately, what's on your needles, and let me know how you feel about this kind of shorter format, but not short. Do you like it? Would you like a little bit more in this? Is it too brief? Is it just the right amount? Let me know. I appreciate your feedback. I'm just trying out something new here, but would love to hear your thoughts, and I will see you next time. Happy knitting, everyone. Take care. Bye.